West Asia is now moving towards a great fear of whether Iran has conducted their nuclear test or they are about to launch a nuclear weapon against Israel. Moreover, in the last few days, a large earthquake was felt in Tehran. Qatar is hosting Iranian foreign minister amid rumors of nuclear test by Tehran. There is growing speculation of Iran conducting its first ever nuclear weapon test. Rumors of an underground nuclear test were sparked by an earthquake in Iran. What is really going on in the Middle East? Let's take a closer look at where all these developments lead to. Welcome back to 20th Century World. The situation in the Middle East is getting worse. Large-scale airstrikes and missile attacks as well as shelling are ongoing. As a part of all this, ordinary people, pregnant women and young children mostly die in bomb attacks and shootings. If all that is not enough, the countries of the world have come to a topic called New Fear Unlock. The main reason for all this is a seismic activity in the vicinity of Iran. Now you must be wondering why the whole world is looking at Iran because of an ordinary earthquake, and just what has happened there. On the evening of October 5, 2024, the University of Tehran's Seismography Center announced that a 4.4 magnitude earthquake had shaken the city of Aradan in Iran's Semnan province, with tremors also felt in parts of eastern Tehran. The epicenter of the earthquake, which occurred 12 kilometers below ground, were recorded as 35.42 degrees north and 52.78 degrees east. If we want to know why people have taken this as a big issue and why the world is watching what Iran will do next, we just need to understand a little bit about the area where this seismic activity took place. The earthquake occurred near the site of Iran's nuclear power plant. This earthquake points to the possibility that it was their first experiment. Did Iran actually conduct a nuclear test? Iran has all the components to build a nuclear weapon if we look at the possibilities. Hours after the news broke, social media users began speculating that the Tehran regime had attempted to conduct its first underground nuclear test, presumably as a deterrent measure against Israeli attacks on its territory. These speculations came as Islamic Republic officials and Revolutionary Guard commanders repeatedly threatened that if economic, political and military pressures on the country intensify, Tehran will alter its military defense doctrine, a change that would require amending the Iranian leader's fatwa on the illegality of nuclear weapons. After Iran attacked Israel, U.S. President Joe Biden told Israel to keep calm and focus on diplomatic solutions. But now the situation has changed. Biden talks to Netanyahu, offers, iron blanket, support for Israel. The White House said the leaders discussed confrontation with Iran in a 30-minute conversation that included Kamala Harris. The call comes as Israel considers an attack against Iran in response to last week's Iranian ballistic missile launch targeting Israeli military bases. Meanwhile, the new Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Riyadh on Wednesday. Then he flew to Doha and met with his Qatari counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani in Doha. After Israel warned it would retaliate against his country for last week's missile attack. Qatar has played a key role in efforts to secure an elusive ceasefire in Gaza and has called for a truce in Lebanon, where Israel escalated last month its bombing of strongholds of Iran-backed Hezbollah. Iran is generally more well-connected with Shiite groups, such as Hezbollah or Amal in Lebanon, while Doha has more influence with Muslim Brotherhood-linked groups, which are Sunni. This is not a simple Sunni-Shia issue, but both countries have areas where they are more influential. This is not a simple Sunni-Shia issue, but both countries have areas where they are more influential. The conflict in the region was the subject of important consultations between Araghchi and his counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani, who also serves as Qatar's prime minister. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghaei said on social media platform X. Iranian foreign Araghchi's trip to Saudi Arabia is symbolically significant. The sight of the Iranian sitting next to Saudi Arabia's crown prince sends a message to the region. The foreign minister met with the high-level Saudi delegation in Riyadh for hours, Iranian media said. Araghchi has been on a region tour that also included Lebanon and Syria over the last week. This is part of Iran's way of showing its influence in the region. The Iranian diplomat also warned Israel not to test Iran, one of many warnings Iran has made to Israel about not carrying out retaliation for the ballistic missile attack. Meanwhile, Iran has warned the Gulf countries that they will give a befitting reply if they help Israel in any way, which is preparing to retaliate against Iran. In the event that Israel is planning an attack on Iran, Iran has made it clear that the Gulf Arab countries should not allow their airspace or military bases to be used for such an attack. Iran said that any such aid to Israel is not acceptable. Iran has made it clear that any action taken by a Gulf country against Tehran using its airspace or military bases will be considered a joint action by all Gulf countries and will be responded to accordingly. Gulf countries fear that Iran will attack their oil facilities if they cooperate in any way with Israel in the current conflict. At the same time, Hezbollah poses a huge threat to Israel's security. Hezbollah releases drone footage of Israeli military bases. Images have emerged of Israeli military bases, military headquarters and other facilities in the Haifa Carmel area. Despite Israel's air defense systems such as Iron Dome and David Sling, Israel was unable to stop Hezbollah's drones. This is considered a major security breach. The footage was captured by Hezbollah's Hoapo drone. Meanwhile, news came out that Israel was preparing to attack Iran. Israel's Security Cabinet convened on Thursday to discuss Israel's response to an Iranian barrage of some 200 ballistic missiles that sent nearly the entire country into reinforced shelters last week, officials said. Senior ministers, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, discussed the overall plan for Israel's retaliation, said two officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the discussions. The cabinet was expected to authorize Mr. Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, the defense minister, initiate the response at their discretion, the officials said. The results of the meeting were not released. Mr. Gallant posted a video on Wednesday saying that Israel's attack against Iran would be deadly, precise and, above all, surprising. He added, "They will not understand what happened and how it happened. They will see the results." Under Israeli law, the prime minister must secure cabinet approval for any major military action, especially one that could escalate into a full-scale conflict with Iran. They also indicated that the retaliation will be substantial, likely involving a mix of airstrikes on military targets in Iran and covert operations, similar to the one that resulted in the death of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. The Gulf countries will pressure the United States to prevent Israel from attacking Iran's oil facilities. Countries including Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Qatar also told Reuters they would not allow Israel to fly through their airspace for strikes against Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly stated that they will respond strongly to Iran's October 1 missile attack on Israel. Israel may be preparing to attack Iran immediately based on intelligence reports that the Iranians are preparing nuclear weapons. As for Israel, it has the capability to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities even without U.S. support. It was proved by Israel a few days ago through a drill in the sky. Now the world is watching how Israel will attack Iran, and the main thing everyone is talking about is attacking Iran's nuclear systems. Or it is commonly said that Iran's oil fields will be burned. The countries of the world are in a state of fear that Iran will use its nuclear weapons based on the idea that once Israel gives a quick response, there is nothing else to look at. We cannot rule out the possibility that if any country anywhere uses nuclear weapons. For example, if Iran itself uses nuclear weapons, and of course Israel uses their large-scale nuclear weapons, and if the United States also joins in, this could lead to a war beyond our imagination. After the cabinet, Mr. Gallant posted a video on Wednesday saying that Israel's attack against Iran would be deadly, precise and Above all, surprising, they will not understand what will happen and how it happened. Israel may launch an attack beyond Iran's imagination or the world's imagination to date. Israel's military attack on Iran. Or a political attack. That is why everyone is looking towards the Middle East. We will see that in the coming days.